Very much for visiting. You may subscribe this channel for more such videos and click like button if you really like this video. This is the third video in the series of videos on consciousness and mind. In first video we understood Western view on conscious, subconscious and unconscious mind. In second video we understood neuroscience and brain anatomy to find mind in the brain. Also reviewed models of consciousness. In this video we will touch Eastern philosophy, Buddhism and Hinduism and its terms and views around consciousness. Now let us leave conceptual and experimental approach of perceiving consciousness as third person and understand the traditional method of direct or first person experience through skillful practice of self-inquiry or meditation. Mind and matter are two aspects of same thing. West is exploring matter, which needs external tool. East has explored mind, which needs internal tool. One has to begin inner journey and seek all answers within. It's a first person experience. The Eastern philosophy is to build the ability to see with clarity. Clarity increases with the practice of detachment from all mental events. The whole system of body and mind is then seen as a theater. We all know, we think, dream, visualize, imagine, feel, express. We fail to see origins of thought and memory and visualization. We fail to see transition from one mental event to another mental event. These are too subtle for us to grasp. All this must be witnessed. Repetition and practice strengthens this faculty of witness and include more and more subtle events in the scope of witnessing. In short, two main faculties of practice are to detach from mind and to stay grounded in body, which results in cessation of mind with ecstasy as byproduct. The word pasya means to see in Sanskrit and Pali. Pasyana means the act of seeing. Jna in Pali and Gna in Sanskrit is root word which means to know. The Latin word gno is related, from which gnosis is derived, which also means knowledge. In Sanskrit, Gnan or Gyan means knowledge. In Pali, Jnana or Gnana means knowledge. Janati means one is knowing. In Vedanta, Drasya means seen or object of seeing and Drashta means the seer. With is also an important root word in Sanskrit and Pali both. This root word vid is very important but diversely used. In Hinduism there are 4 Vedas. Whole Hinduism is based on those 4 Vedas and it seems Veda means to know. The Veda also has root vid. However, in Pali, Vedana, which has same root vid, means feeling. Vedana is also very key word in whole Buddhism. In fact, the knowledge, English word knowledge itself is misinterpretation. It's disability of English language, because in Eastern philosophy it's not conceptual, rather is experiential. So whenever you come across knowledge word in Eastern context, take it more as experience and less as information. And experience has two aspects. One is to grasp and another is to feel. It seems Buddhism rightly took the feeling part of with into Vedana, and Hinduism took grasping part of with, which is more aligning Veda to Gna, to say it is knowledge. Vi is the prefix word in Pali and probably in Sanskrit. When it applies to another word, it adds the meaning of distinct or special. So, Vijnana is deep knowing or special knowing, distinct knowing, now mostly referred as consciousness in English. Vipassana is deep seeing or clear seeing, distinct seeing, special seeing, which now is famous as insight meditation practice, also called vipassana, vipassana. In Buddhism, vijnana is consciousness of something, more like activity. Whereas in Hinduism, it sounds more like an entity. Consciousness is. In Buddhism, consciousness of. But in Hinduism, it has levels of impurity or ignorance. So pure consciousness and not pure consciousness. In Hinduism, Atman means pure self-consciousness, pure self. And when it is impure, it is called ahankar, ego. And Brahman is the super consciousness, collective consciousness, or whatever you call, universal consciousness or all consciousness. There are levels of observation. Separate self or ego is unanimously understood by all religions. The seat of duality, the one who keeps changing. It actually a battleground of id, ego and superego as described by Sigmund Freud. Collectively we can call it separate self. The absolute self, pure self or the soul or Atman as per Hinduism is where there is no dualism, there is no impurity. Buddhism do not entertain the concept of Atman, though it agrees the concept of reincarnation. Buddhists do not talk about ego, separate self, or even self. Instead, they coin a word called anat, which means there is no self. At every level, to reach the notion of self until nirvana, which is selflessness, is achieved. It's a push approach, pushing notion of self. No self, no self. You keep pushing it away from. Hinduism is pull approach, pulling the super consciousness or Brahman. Focus on the higher self at every level and keep purifying the self until all impurity goes away from you. And you become the, or you merge into Supreme Self. There are six explicit or obvious faculties of Vijnana. In Hinduism, is called Gnanendriya. In Buddhism, it's called Vijnana related to six senses, Sarayatana. The five sense consciousness that is related to sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. They are called eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness. And the sixth is mind consciousness, which senses the concept, that is thought, intention, imagination, etc. There is another explicit consciousness, that is thinking mind, that builds concept, uses words or symbol for concept and can create permutation and combination of these symbols to create new concept. The inherent nature of this is a notion of self. It's called ahankar in Hinduism and it's called manas in Buddhism. This capacity is available only in human or probably in dolphin, elephant or chimpanzees. In fact, the human word is made from man, which derived from manas or mano. In Hindi, manav means human. The main faculty of this is attention on real stimuli or mental attention or minding, that is its nature, which keeps shifting and produce thoughts too. Manas is also the battleground of concepts and habit. Old concepts versus new concepts, strong versus weak, etc. The Sigmund Freud suggested three terms, id, ego and superego. Manas is the best place, the battleground of all these three. In that sense, wisdom is superego or new habits, which has to skillfully overcome old habit. Wisdom is called buddhi in Hinduism and panna in Buddhism, which is from gna. Gna, pragna, panna means pa means extra, gna means know. So extra knowing or skillful knowing, panna. Sampanna is process of applying wisdom in the present moment. Basically, what fires together, that wires together. The famous neuroscience jargon is fitting here much better. Applying wisdom means firing some other concept along with the habit. Then you are wiring that wisdom with the habit. And there is one implicit consciousness which stores experiences and symbol called sanna in Pali, and this storehouse is called alay vijnana or store consciousness in Pali. Basically referred as chitta. It not only stores them but also invokes them in favorable conditions and also uses them in building perception. That's why we see what we want to see. The subconscious mind, which is very fast, uses this in building perception. The whole subconscious and unconscious mind of Western philosophy is chitta. Chitta and mana are used almost synonymously. On top of it, the English word mind is additional confusion. And has most of the time, people get confused about what is equivalent of mind in Eastern philosophy. Sometimes manas and chitta is referred as chitta. Sometimes all three are called chitta. All three means mind consciousness, mind or manas and chitta. Sometimes all three are referred as manas. And confusion goes with word mind. However, when you are deep into the subject, you realize the clear difference between three: mind, mind consciousness, and chitta. Dhi means to hold information in Sanskrit. In popular Gayatri mantra, this word comes. Dhi mahi generally means let us meditate on, or basically hold something in mind. Dhiyo generally means intellect. Dhimahi, Dhiyo. These three words you will find in Gayatri mantra. Smriti means memory in Sanskrit. Sati means to not forget in Pali. And as per neuroscience, the act of sati begins first by holding it in short memory or attention. It happens in prefrontal cortex. Later hippocampus index it and stores it into long-term memory. So this initial memory that hippocampus is going to access is actually in your prefrontal cortex. That is the key thing for the practice. That is the gateway, the door for remembering something permanently, imbibing into you and building a whole new consciousness out of it. Similarly, sati is to hold something in mind. So sati can be like your short-term memory that happens in prefrontal cortex, and ACC, the AC cortex, which is behind prefrontal cortex and basal ganglia, is the point which holds it, which focuses, which is the core thing in attention building. Over a period of practice, it gets wired by hippocampus into long-term memory. You can say sati is the tool of creating new consciousness. Sati is the real tool in practice. This wrongly interpreted as mindfulness. So you might have heard mindfulness practice, mindfulness meditation. The word mindfulness is actually a Pali word sati, which actually means to hold something in memory, to remember, like that. It's not a full mind full of something. It's just holding something, remembering something. But it is wrongly interpreted as awareness meditation. It's not. Actually, I will take this subject on sati in detail in coming videos. The mind model in Hinduism is very basic, primitive. It's called antahkaran, which can be translated as inner cause. Karya Karan Siddhant means the law of action and its cause. Antakaran has four faculties: Chitta, Manas, Buddhi and Ahamkar. I have explained all these four. Now Buddhi means wisdom, which is derived from the word. Ahamkar literally is I-ism. Ahamkar, I-ism, which loosely called as ego, but I think it contains all all ID, ego, superego notion of Sigmund Freud, and basically this is the core of manas, the mind. Whereas the manas here is mind consciousness, seems like. So this ahankar or manas, real manas, mind, is the battleground of old and new, higher and lower, this and that, a seat of duality consciousness. The mind model in Buddhism is very detailed. It's called Paticca Samuppada or wheel of life. It's translated as dependent origination. Similar like antahkaran, which is uh, cause and action and cause. This is called dependent origination. This causes that. They do not completely see mind with compartment as has been seen in Hinduism or entity. Buddhism takes it as a whole unit and phenomena. With this as condition that arises. These are the 12 links of the causation. The first causes second. Avidya causes samkhara. Samkhara causes paticca samuppada. These are not department. I will actually explain this in very detail in coming video. Thank you very much for being with me so far. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.